When we think of TapRooT, a lot of times people think about safety issues. And that's something we definitely prioritize around here. But you know what? We also get asked about quality. How can TapRooT help with quality issues? As a matter of fact, I got off a phone call just a little bit ago. Alex Paradise is here with me today. And Alex, I was talking to these clients. They produce a very important product. They use it in surgical equipment. And they were interested in how TapRooT could help them with quality issues. You are an expert in a lot of this area. So kind of tell me a little bit about what people need to look at when they're looking at quality issues.
So I don't know that I'd say I'm more of an expert than anyone else in quality, because a lot of us
More
in
than
quality, a lot of us, we're all used to dealing with quality issues. We've all had defective product from time to time. I think I purchased a new car and there was a scratch on it, right?
Yep.
And so we all have to deal with the problems that happen when quality goes bad and it releases either to the customer or to an internal operation, and dealing with those kind of quality issues. So
Like when you hear about recalls.
recalls are at least the most public form of a quality issue. But there's also, for companies, there's also internal quality escapes. So when you're thinking about quality, you're thinking about how quality, both in the process I'm working in and also the person I'm handing it to. It might be an internal customer, the next guy in the next operation, or it might also be to the external customer where we're talking about recalls and stuff.
Okay, I hadn't even thought about it that way. So, but I can see, so in the handoff process, so if person at this end of the manufacturing process has had issues, or like something as debris or something has gotten into part of the
Whatever
product
it is
that they're making, and then by the time it gets down to the next person, it can start causing
Yep. So
problems.
typically, in quality, we're thinking the flow of operations. We're thinking, I've got to produce a part or a piece of equipment or whatever it is in the tolerances I'm given. And typically the next operation relies on me doing it the right way.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that you think about in quality, is giving that the right product to the next person.
Okay.
And there's a little bit different way that we approach understanding that in TapRooT. And we're really looking at it from the standpoint of understanding not just what that bad piece of quality is. My part was undersized on the width, or it had some other defect.
Right.
But also understanding what's the consequence of that defect.
Right.
Did that defect cause a customer complaint? Did that defect cause the machine to have a problem in the next operation? So the consequence of the defect that I released, what was its actual consequence? That's what we would call an incident in TapRooT.
All right. So you have that would be your internal type of situation, and then the recalls, like we talk about, that when it gets to gets out there into the public and somebody can get hurt. That is
that's like the most serious, right?
It is, but it is what we hear about, and when you're dealing with, and it can be in any industry. It can be whether it's a car or whether it's a food product. People find all the time they get somebody got pieces of metal in their Cheerios or something.
Yeah.
There's that end user. It can be all kinds of different people. So how does TapRooT help in the quality situation?
So when you get those complaints and they come in, when I was in operations, we dealt with a lot of how do we improve our quality, how do we deal when we get a customer complaint back, how do we find out what happened? And what TapRooT provides is that system for understanding what happened and why it happened and how you can improve it. In quality, we're all taught different tools. There's failure modes and effects analysis. There's 5 whys. You've got 8-step problem solving. You've got 6 Sigma users, lean users. There's the old school guys that just know the answer to things.
Yeah.
And so we're all taught these different ways of solving that problem. And you really come up to a couple different issues. You come up to either heavily reliance on experienced people. My first year in a quality group, it was like I was just going to the guy that had the answers and taking up his time because I didn't know what to ask. I didn't know what information. So there's a lot of that inexperience that you deal with and looking for answers and trying to deal. And that's a good thing in quality because you really want to dig into a problem. But if you don't know what questions to ask, you really don't dig very deep.
Well, and with there's a lot of people, an older generation of people who are retiring out of companies, so that experience kind of leaves.
It disappears. It disappears.
Where does that leave the new people like yourself going in?
It's really going to be a big problem because if you look The facility I worked at was a 50-year-old plant. We had 20-something people that were 40 years plus experience.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys knew their machines.
did.
They knew their process. And so you could go to them and ask, hey, how does this thing fail? And they could give you an answer.
Right.
But what you found was the next ramp we went to, okay, I've got 30% people that have a year less experience. If I go to ask them how something fails,
Right. You're not going to get.
you're not going to get that info. So that inexperience is really going to be a big factor in the coming years. But the other thing that you've got, especially in quality groups, is you've got a lot of bias. So the experienced people have learned things over the years. They've learned it, but it's also kind of biased them towards specific things. So you get managers that are biased to something like operator error. Oh, that person just these people make this mistake all the
Right.
time. So you got those biases, or we just do bad training. I know a lot about training, so I find all these training problems.
Yeah.
So those biases come up a lot with experienced investigators as well. So that's where going away from those really user experience based tools like 5Ys, FEMA's, a lot of cause mapping kind of investigations. Those are real experience-based ones, and moving more towards one that's a best practice-based system like ours
Yeah.
really helps get your investigators higher in the quality faster.
I was thinking about when we were talking about that the experience. I was thinking that, well, there's got to be the bias in there. I mean, because you just and you just know,
I just know the answer.
I've seen this before. I've fixed this 100 times. Well, maybe there's a reason you've had to fix it 100 times.
And I could say I was guilty of similar things when I was a manager, and the quality group would come in here and say, well, this is what we found is the cause, and I'd go, that's not the cause. They don't ever have that problem, and some of that you can definitely see from groups that maybe weren't on the floor as much when they did their investigation, or weren't gathering the facts and didn't use the evidence to guide them. They used intuition.
Yeah.
And that's where, again, TapRooT breaks away from, this isn't an intuition system. This is a system based on facts and evidence and repeatability.
Yeah. And then you can gather all that data, and then you can trend on the data.
Exactly. So that's one of the other unique advantages that I think is really important to quality. One of the problems I know I faced, we had a standard for what the root cause was, but they were really vague.
Yeah.
And so we also had a section, which is where you typed out what happened or what the root cause was, and you had to use that description to figure out what your root cause was, because people just they all write something different. You can
Right.
have, okay, we wrote this part was undersized for this reason, and that's written as many different ways as you can say it.
Right.
And so you can't trend data like that.
No.
You just get this big pile of really narrow data points, and then you got to dig into the details. So that was something that we found as a big issue, and one of the things TapRooT helps solve, because you've got a list of root
Yes.
causes. You've got 120 something root causes, and you can trend against that. You can trend to find out, are our systemic issues in the management system? Are they in our human engineering systems? Where are our problems at? You can trend that. So that's one of the other unique advantages with TapRooT.
Yeah. And then to be proactive.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, we talk about this as a best practice,
Yes.
right? We've got a list of best practices. So when you're auditing, which is another huge portion of your quality time, is not just, are we following the standards? When we don't follow it, we're going to investigate, but also making sure that we're catching things before they escape. So that's why we audit. TapRooT can be used in auditing as well, because
Absolutely.
you can lay out your process. You can find those. We don't call them we don't call them causal factors when we're doing an audit. We call them significant issues. Those significant findings where people were deviating from a standard. You can find those and then take them through the root cause tree and find out what the missing best practices are that allowed them to deviate from the standard. Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's perfect. I mean, TapRooT for quality, I think it's just a perfect match. I mean, it really is. And we have a quality a course that's our essentials course with some quality examples in it. So if you want that type of training, we can provide that.
Yeah, we and it focuses a lot on the quality side, but also, like this, the proactive audit side.
Yeah.
We cover, I think, is it book, what is it, 9? Not 9, it's book 7, I think, or something like
Yeah, I
that,
don't remember.
which is our quality and auditing book. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to have to
the
find out.
auditing book, yeah.
The quality and auditing book. And that one focuses, again, primarily on how do you apply this into your quality system,
Yeah.
into your auditing system. And that's one of the features I think not many not many new users know about is our audit and how you use audits, and you can build customized audits. I think this is one of those areas where people may not even know how useful that tool can be for building out those customized audits and then taking those audits through the tree. So that's a fun feature that I think, we cover it in the 5-day course, but the 2-day people may not know about.
That's right. And you can find out about it by going to our website.
That's true.
That's where we have pretty much all the information you could ever want to know about TapRooT besides how to do it.
Yep. And I think there's one other feature, and you would probably agree with this, in quality, when I'm looking at this, I want to make sure the investigations are done right.
Yes.
So we actually build into our process that same process as well, which is we have ability to grade investigations.
Very important.
So I know when I was a manager that what I had to do most of my time spent with an investigation was coaching.
Yeah.
Was telling you need to dig deeper, you need to look at this. A lot of my time was spent on that. And it's not an organized structure for most other systems. There's not a good organized structure for auditing and grading a 5Y. There's not.
Right.
It's my experience versus their experience. Yeah. But TapRooT is better. We have an actual systematic process for grading investigations, and I think I do teach a webinar. I do teach a webinar on this, but we do have a process for that lays out how you should grade an investigation, what are the actual criteria for it, and you can break that down. So we cover that as well. So it's really a holistic quality approach from understanding the incidents or audit findings, finding those missing best practices and root cause, making sure you're coaching and mentoring your team, and making sure you're coming up with good corrective actions.
Yes.
Because it's a little known thing, but quality has just as much struggle coming up with corrective actions as safety people.
Sure.
And so our coaching and what we provide for that with the smarter corrective actions and the hierarchy of safeguards, I think it's just as important in the quality group as it is in the safety group.
Oh, I do too. And, it costs people a lot of money when something goes wrong, whether it's an accident or something that they have developed has something wrong with it. You've got to stop everything.
It's surprising how small problems in quality cost so much if you look at the aggregate. And I think that's one of the biggest things you do in quality is, okay, where are my biggest problems? Where's my biggest dollar problem? But it's crazy how much little things can add up.
Oh, they can. Absolutely. And we want to help you keep that from happening. And we can do that. We've got a great website that tells you how to find what courses we have, because we can do public courses, we can do on-site courses. We have webinars, just like you were talking about the grading investigations. That is so popular. People, I showed it to somebody earlier today, and they were so excited. They were just, this is just fantastic, and it'll be an amazing tool that they can use in their company. Like you said, to coach their investigators and to make sure those investigations have the highest quality that you want, because that's what we want to help people do, right?
Yep.
And so that's why we actually keep improving TapRooT all the time. So go to our website at taproot.com, contact us at info@taproot.com, and we've got the audit book. They can go to our store and find that book we were talking about, whether it's 7 or 8 or 9.
Whichever book it is.
Whichever number it is, you can find it there. And we actually have a nice series of books that are there. But Alex, thank you so much. Quality is something that affects every company. Like I said, people think about us for safety, but quality is just as important.
Yeah, if you think about it, protecting your brand,
yeah,
that's such a critical thing.
That's a good way to put it.
To protect your brand so that people understand, hey, this is my brand, this is my company, I'm proud of this because we're putting out good quality. So
that's a good way to put it. I like that. Well, we're going to end on that note. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. Hit the notification bell to find out about videos that we have coming up. And we'll see you back here next time.